Hi, today's video is what is an SD-WAN? So an SD-WAN or software defined wide area network is a way of connecting lots of computers or different networks together. And so let's think back to the early days of computing where you might have a single network in a single building and maybe from time to time people would dial in over a telephone line and they would become part of the network because they literally dialed straight into the one of the computers on that network. But as things got more complex, maybe you'd had different offices and they'd be connected by a physical link which was dedicated between those different buildings, which are typically part of that same organization. But that got very expensive, and as the internet became more widely available, techniques arrived and came along to allow you to connect those things over the internet using things like VPNs, virtual private networks, and also to allow people to work remotely and rather than dialing in directly via a phone line to connect their laptop or their phone or their desktop from home or when they're traveling across to the main network. And so they would then began doing that in software defined ways. In other words, it wasn't a physical dedicated link. Exactly how they connected was defined by software. And this is pretty much the standard these days. Particularly you have lots of different people in different places and different buildings connecting together. But also you may be connecting to services in the cloud, for instance, or running a service in one building and connecting to it from another. Could be all the way other way across the world. So the standard way of doing it is via software defined networks by saying, okay, well, this is how we're going to route the packets. This is how we're going to connect these different systems and these different other networks onto the main network and how they should work together. And there's some really interesting and important cybersecurity issues to think about here. So, one would be, how much do you trust computers that are remote and you can't necessarily check physically to connect to your network and to access your services and all those sorts of things? How should you allow them on? What authentication should you use? How should you protect communication between them with encryption, things like that? What should the different network filters of what information can pass in which direction, how should that be all put together? And these are all things that are managed by a software defined wide area network or SD-WAN. So that's what an SD-WAN is. It's a way of connecting different computers and different networks together in a software defined way. I hope that's useful. If you've got questions about this or anything else, well, please subscribe to the channel. Give me a comment. I'll do what I can to help. Thanks.